USC and UCLA football learn their postseason fate. You know, once you fan away the stench of noxious gas, at least the Chargers won. And to the Lakers, Houston is the new Memphis. Good morning. I'm James. This is your daily dose of sports and snark for the greatest sports city in the world, Los Angeles. This is the faithful Angelenos morning report. And good Lord, is it morning. It is what the hell am I doing with my life level morning. It is December 4th, 2023, still stuck in St. Louis misery for another few days. But on the plus side, we have added new subscribers to the Angeleno Familia. Thank you for getting in on the ground floor. It does mean a lot. Do you like being in the know about LA sports? Well, clickety-clack the like button. Clickety-clack the subscribe button. There's a notification bell. Hit that. It lets you know we drop new content. Sharing is caring. Let people know we exist. And by all means, comment. If there is some good for me being in St. Louis, it is you guys commenting. Before we go through the news and notes and look at the scoreboard, great day for the Angelenos. Great day. Matthew Stafford threw for 279 yards, 3 touchdowns. Kyron Williams rushed for 88 yards and a touchdown. Rams 36, Cleveland 19. The Rams are back in the playoff picture. Meanwhile, if it's a win, I guess it's supposed to be good, right? Chargers 6, New England nothing. The thing nearly set a record for punts in an NFL game. We'll get to that a little more in depth in a moment. And 2 goals from Quentin Byfield. Wow, has he come on? We were all waiting for it. It's like yelling at that little green thing sticking out of the turf. Come on, man, grow, bloom. Quentin Byfield has started to bloom. 2 goals and the Kings win 4-1 over Colorado. By the way, there are no games involving LA teams today. USC football is going to face Louisville in the Holiday Bowl, which is now played at Petco Park since Qualcomm Stadium was pretty much reduced to a soccer stadium now. The game's December 27th. Cards are actually going to be a damn strong opponent. You're going to kind of want to hope that D'Anton Lynn will already be coaching the defense for the Trojans. But here's the thing. We don't know. It hasn't been announced that Lynn is actually going to coach the defense for the bowl game. The Cards are 10-3. They lost to Florida State in the ACC title game. There is no word yet. I mentioned earlier about whether or not D'Anton Lynn will coach the D. We don't have any word on whether or not Caleb Williams is going to be finding that bowl exciting enough to play. But I will say there will be a couple of players who probably will not play. Probably. Running back Marshawn Lloyd, the Trojans' leading rusher with 820 yards and 9 touchdowns, he declared for the NFL draft, according to the LA Times. Why would you risk an NFL career by playing in a bowl game? Wide receiver Brendan Rice, a senior, could play. He's already going to be leaving Heritage Hall. But he did announce that he will play in the Senior Bowl. So, possibly losing 2 skill position players for the Holiday Bowl. Meanwhile, UCLA football is going to be playing Boise State in the LA Bowl at SoFi Stadium. It'll be sooner than you think. That game is December 16th. Now, it's at SoFi Stadium, which means there's going to be a couple of pluses. 1, nobody has to book a flight. Great, right? The second, it's in SoFi Stadium, and therefore nobody on the sidelines is going to see fired Chip Kelly banners flying around the stadium. So you're always looking for pluses, looking for reasons for optimism. Meanwhile, Chip Kelly poked his head out of the rabbit hole, figured out that the coast was clear, and decided to emerge from said rabbit hole to discuss his no good, very bad week. He was gracious, actually, very gracious about losing D'Anton Lynn to USC. Quote, "We made a push to keep D'Anton. We weren't in the ballpark from that standpoint. USC wasn't the only team that was courting him. In addition to that, Kelly also issued the perfunctory "we wish him well" quote about Dante Moore, the five-star recruit who just lasted 1 year in Westwood before having enough. So, it all sounds nice, right? Here's the problem. The brain drain continues over at UCLA. Quarterback coach Ryan Gunderson was hired as Oregon State's new offensive coordinator. Ruh-roh. So, in sum, lose your quarterback of the future, lose a potential offensive coordinator of the future, lose your defensive coordinator, and go from pushing a New Year's Day adjacent bowl game all the way back to December 16th. Not exactly a good 7 days for UCLA football. Not to mention the fact losing to Cal. Good Lord. So I used to watch this YouTube channel to try to get some insights on college football. And the host would go, and the first thing he would say, he would insist that any win is a good win. It's a win after all. Has to be good. Are you a Chargers fan? You tell me if what you saw was a good win yesterday. You tell me that. You might be able to make a case for it, don't get me wrong, right? Because after all, it was the first time the Bolts had pitched a shutout since 2014. Barack Obama was in the White House. It was a much calmer, more innocent time then. You could also sit there and say, look, James, had the Chargers lost, their season is over. Fair point. Absolutely fair point. All of it true. But that game was 1 point shy of setting an NFL record for punts in a game. 15 punts over in New England yesterday. In other words, not only was nobody getting any touchdowns, and by the way, there weren't any touchdowns, there were only 2 field goals. Not only was nobody getting any touchdowns, nobody was moving in chains. It was 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out. Much like a guy who needs a fistful of erectile dysfunction pills. 3 and out, 3 and out, 3. Anyway, you have Justin Herbert under center, and you couldn't get a single touchdown. You would have said, and by the way, I saw the game that did set the record for punts in an NFL game. I remember it as if it were only yesterday. It was Chargers Raiders in 1998 up in Oakland. Ryan Leaf was quarterbacking the Chargers. Jeff George was quarterbacking the Raiders. And you have to ask yourself, how bad of a mark is it on Justin Herbert? I still think he's a terrific quarterback. I'm not going to front. But if you're supposedly a top 5 quarterback who just got the massive bag and you can't figure out a way to get a single touchdown in a game, are you in fact elite? Now, I'm not sitting there trying to tell you that this guy is Ryan Leaf without with a stronger chin. I'm not trying to go there. The Chargers do have bigger problems on offense. They can't run the football. Austin Eckler had 18 yards. The entire team rushed for 29 yards. But that's a thing, guys. It is. Now, I don't want to be sounding too many alarms. It just looks pretty ugly. You could still make an argument that any win is a good day. I don't want to poop on your parade that much, although I just did. But if as things stand, the Chargers are currently the 12th team in the AFC. They're nowhere near the playoffs yet. It really does seem like the Houston Rockets want to replace the Memphis Grizzlies as the Lakers' top annoyance. Not threat, annoyance. And it makes sense to a degree, you know? I mean, Dylan Brooks was in Memphis last year. He fancies himself to be the NBA's version of Silky Johnston from the Player Haters Ball on Chappelle's show. Back now, you sit there and you look, Rockets coach Ime Udoka, he's acting like Buck Nasty from the same skit. It's craziness. Udoka was ejected from Saturday's game for getting into it with LeBron James, right in front of the refs. Craziness. We don't know, by the way, exactly what was said. We're hearing quotes on X. People are tweeting that Udoka kept calling everybody on the Lakers a bitch and this, that, and the other. We don't know if that's true. But what are you doing? You're supposed to be the leader of your franchise. And there you are, just player hating on the NBA's all-time leading scorer. You don't have to drop rose petals at the man's feet, but getting in his face and saying stuff in front of the referee? What kind of leadership is that? You already got chased out of Boston for allegedly stooping somebody. Dude just isn't learning his lessons, much like the Memphis Grizzlies didn't during last year's playoffs against the Lakers. Remember that? Now, Udoka said after the game that he was mad that his team was getting punked. And I'm sitting there like, okay, but you didn't finish the game on the court to witness said punking. Relax. Have some chamomile tea, something, for Pete's sakes. Houston is trying so hard to win the Player Hater of the Year award. Gotta stop doing that. Life is good if you look for the pluses. Also for the Lakers, Gabe Vincent has only played 4 games this year. Darwin Ham said that Vincent is, quote, progressing along, unquote, lifting weights, shooting, still no timetable for his return. Some good news. You know, the Rams were left for dead just 3 weeks ago. Now they're 6-6, and they hold on to the last available playoff spot in the NFC, thanks to their 3-game winning streak. Now, true, Cleveland put out its 4th-string quarterback, so it should have been a win. But the Browns D up. And as we previously established, Matthew Stafford and Kyron Williams both went nuts. But you have to add the third person who got off on Sunday. Puka Nacua. The dude caught 4 passes for 105 yards, including a skinny post that he just sliced right through 3 Browns defenders on his way to the end zone. Dude also took a jet sweep for 31 yards, which is a damn fine day. And I would add pretty heroic, because the guy had to go to the locker room a couple of times. The dude got his ribs hurt, the dude hurt his hands, and he still put up numbers like that to lift the Rams back into the playoff picture. But you let me know what you think in the comments thread. If you are a UCLA fan, are you going to get in the car and roll down to SoFi in a couple of weeks? If you're USC, how much are you hoping DeAnton Lynn is on the sidelines when they go out and they face Louisville? And if you enjoyed the content, don't forget to subscribe to Faithful Angelenos. We're talking LA sports every single day here. Thank you for watching. I'm James. We'll be back tomorrow, where hopefully I'll be more alert. Faithful Angelenos is a Kian Corte El Queso production. Take care.